Okay. Um, so today we are going to discuss about Streamlit. So what Streamlit is, like, it will help you create a web application, but without any front-end experience. So first, we will see like how Streamlit is used in Python app or in any Python script. And for example, like this tutorial, a notebook we will run. And after that, we will also discuss about some of the use cases that we can do. For example, any data dashboard or any kind of prediction model, that how we kind of use that with Streamlit. And finally, we will also discuss about deployments, like how we can deploy these apps into maybe in your local system, or maybe in uh, Streamlit Community Cloud, or maybe on Cybers. So different deployments have different features. So first, let's start with the tutorial first. So here we are downloading all the dependencies. So like Streamlit or Pandas and any libraries that you want to run. So let's say we run this, and here capture is to uh, any kind of, it will capture all the output and it will not show you all the logs of installing libraries. So that's why. So this is now installation is done. And after that, let's say if you want to run a very simple Streamlit app, then what we do is we write these statements in our Streamlit application. And what it will do is it will print these Streamlit hello world and this sunglasses emoji. And why we are doing this percent write file app.py is, so what it will do, it will uh, create a app.py file in the directory of this notebook, and write this content. So it will, this, why we are doing this here is because it will make it easier to run our application and make changes in the notebook itself and to replicate that into the Streamlit app. So let's run this. So once this is done, we can see like there is a file name.
Sorry to interrupt you, Pal. Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, I'm not. My bad.
Yeah, perfect. We can see it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, like after installing the libraries and on this percent write file app, like we have this app.py file in our notebook directory, which is like here. So in app.py, you can see like only these statements are there. So once these statements are run, then how we can run the Streamlit app. So in the notebook, you can run bash commands or something like this, or you can just run this thing in the terminal itself, which will make it easier because, so once I'll run this, this is running. So this will launch this web app into this IP. By default, this IP is there, and you can see like hello world is printed. So this will launch an Streamlit application. But the problem with a notebook is, so this cell is always running. So you cannot like move forward. So what I'll do is I'll just stop this here and I'll run this into the terminal. Uh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us if there's anything we need to download or install
No,
in our system?
if you want to replicate that, then uh, you can download Streamlit, all these notebooks, and just run this. This will work. So this notebook along with that. You should have a Jupyter package. So once you open this notebook, this will install all the libraries. Okay. Um, so let's run the app. And okay, so now app is still running, and we will keep on changing the code, and uh, you can see the changes as we will make change in the notebook itself. So next is like how to write text into the Streamlit app, or maybe Markdown, right? So let's run this. So here we are writing first write local application, and then after that we are adding some markdown content. Like markdown is markdown files that you see in GitHub repos, readme.md files. They are generally markdown files. And we'll talk about sidebar as well once we see the app. So now we have changed the content of app.py file, and you can see like it is there. And let's see if this has changed. Let's just refresh it, and you can see like changes are already done. You don't have to restart the Streamlit process again and again. You can just refresh the page and it will keep up. So for example, we wrote the local application, and then we wrote like, this is my Streamlit application. And then we also added like this sidebar thing. So this will create one sidebar, and here you can add content according to that. So this, we are adding a markdown, but in the sidebar. So this is how you can write some text and any kind of markdown which you want to add into the uh, website. And next is, let's say if we want to show some data frame, pandas data frame in format of table. So that is generally a use case that you want to show the data to the user. So what you can do is, what we have done here is like, again, Streamlit import, and then we are reading a file, and then just writing the data frame into that. So what this will do is this will write a data frame, and yeah. So here you can see like, this is housing price data set, and here you can just, so it's pretty easy. Like you just have to pass the data frame, don't have to do anything else, and it will just create a pretty table, and you can explore it, download it. It provides many functionalities. It's provided by Streamlit itself. So yep, this is how we write a table into the Streamlit application. And let's say if you want something like a user wants to upload a file to the website, so how do we do that? So Streamlit provides kind of this Streamlit file uploader. So you just have to write this function, and then you can also provide which type of file. Maybe it is CSV, maybe it is something PDF, or any other file like that you want to provide. So you can give an option in the type, and then this will open a, and along with that, like you can also have uh, to add text. There are many options. Then could be write, it could be title, there could be subheaders. So these are HTML functions, you don't have to worry about it, but all these just will add some content into your Streamlit application. So here we are doing is we are uploading a file, we are giving a uploading file function, and then if we are saying like, if file is uploaded, then we will read that file and then print data frame, right? And we are also describing some statistics, which is again st.write. So all the functions are pretty same. Only change that we did was a Streamlit file uploader. And if the file is not uploaded, we will say like, upload a CSV file. So let's run this and refresh the page. You can see like we have upload CSV feature, and let's upload some CSV. Oh, this one is little big though. Okay, let's try. Yeah, so it works. And it also print out the statistics, and it also print the data frame. So this is pretty easy. Like you have this input option, and so use case for this could be like uploading the input test data set for your model, or any other data that you want to just user can upload and create a data dashboard. So you can take input from the user via these CSV files. This have some limits per file, but you can do all kind of compressed and everything else into that.
Pal, I have a question here.
Yep.
Just about expected behavior.
Yeah.
So in your Python notebook, I ran the first and the second cells.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to understand how to open the localhost, like the page where the Streamlit app is supposed to display
Okay.
things. How does that
So
work?
you can run this into your terminal, and
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I see. Okay, let me give it a shot. Thank you.
Okay. So next we'll talk about like how to add kind of a button. For example, if want to have like user to click some execute button of maybe prediction of modeling or anything like that, then how we do that? So you have this st.button function that you can say like, okay, this title for the button will be say hello, and if user has clicked, then you can execute some operation. For example, we are saying like it should write goodbye if its button is clicked. So let's try that. So currently it is saying say hello, and then if we say like click it, then it will say goodbye. So these are like small components that you can add to uh, your Streamlit app. Now let me show you one of the example of a Streamlit dashboard. So for example, this one. Uh, okay, so you can do something like this with Streamlit, where you have these uh, titles and these metrics. Then you can also have charts. You can also have maps. And again, that I already showed you the filter data, like a table. So here you can, here I can, you can create some filters along with the data itself. For example, this is a data dashboard, right? So let's say if I want to choose a different county, then it will include that county. And different, you can have all type of filters. And let's say if I want to filter by zip, then it will print filter by zip. So these are called filters that you can apply to your dashboard, and it will applicable to all of the things that you have mattered. And same goes for, let's say if this was a dashboard example, and then let's go for the prediction. So again, like I showed you the example of submit, so you can combine filters with submit as well. So as much as you as like you want. And let's say if I want to predict the price, then you can click submit, and this is the button, right, that I just explained to you. So this is how you can use Streamlit app for maybe data dashboard or maybe just the prediction. And yeah, you can have these kind of things in the app. So let's move on to the tutorial again. Okay, and I showed you about the filters in the app, right? So now let's uh, see how to create those filters. So here what I'm doing is I'm reading a Parquet file again, and I'm removing some null values, I'm transforming some data, and then I have a filter called slider. So let's see like how slider works. Yeah. So here we have a slider. So you can have filters like slider as well, rather than just the boxes that we just seen. So example is, so this once the slider have changed, then it will automatically apply to the uh, your data. So this is one of the filter. So how you implement that is like you provide a label for the slider, then you provide a minimum value from your data itself, and then you have like maximum value, what's the range, and then you store this as a value, and then you whatever the user have selected, so it will give you that, and then you can filter your data frame based on that value, and then you can write that into the user. So this will keep on running every time you will change the slider. This code will run and this will update. So this is how it works. Basically, you're providing a filter, you are getting a value from the user, and then you're passing it to your data frame to filter that value, and then you can write into the Streamlit app using st.write. So this is how you add filters. And this is one of the sliders, right? Next, I'll show you the select box and multi-select. So these are different, there are different type of filters. So let's see the example first, and then we'll see. Okay, so here you can see like I can only choose one option, either county or zip. So this is called a select box. I mean, this will only allow you to choose one option. This will not allow you to choose multiple options. And sometimes you have requirement of that. And sometimes you have a requirement of multi-selection. So here you can choose multi-select. And this was a slider. So this is one of the example of select box, multi-select, and then sliders. In this, so how do we create this? So again, this same code we have used previously. Only change is we have add a select box into the sidebar, and we have given it a label select location filter, that is this. And then after that we have provided options, which options should be there, like county and zip. And then we see like what have user have selected. If user have selected county, then this will run, and if not, then zip will run, because each of the so once we select this county zip, right, so this will have a different values. So we need to change that uh, option based on the selection of user. So once we have selected zip, then what it will do, it will add a multi-select zip code, select zip code, again label, and then values of that label, and what is the default value of that label. So you can also provide default values that you want. Once the app is first loaded, it will pass that. And when then after that we are filtering the selected zip value, and then we are passing into the uh, right of the Streamlit app. And also we are filtering based on same slider that we had before. So we had this multi-select. So we covered multi-select. We covered select box as well, which is just choosing one option. Multi-select is for selecting multiple options. Then slider for uh, filters again to check from any range. So okay, so now to recap, what we learned is like how to write text to a Streamlit application, how to write a data frame to an application, and how to have a functionality of uploading a file, CSV or any other thing, and a button, how to submit a button, how to create a submit button, and how to add filters and different type of filters like sliders, select box, multi-select, and select box. And after that, let's say I've shown you the plots as well, right? So these kind of plots. So you can also have plots, and plots you can have, like in Python, we have different type of libraries to create those plot. Maybe it could be matplotlib or it could be plotly. So Streamlit have functionality of supporting these different matplot libraries. You might face some issues with complexity of app if your matplot plot is very complex. So Streamlit may or may not work with it. So you have to try. So it depends on the complexity of the plot. So by default, how you can use the matplot library with Streamlit is, so once you create these plots using the matplot library, then you need to use the Streamlit's pyplot function and pass the plot to the Streamlit pyplot function. So here we are creating matplot plot using matplot library, and let's see how that looks like. So like similar, like very simple enough. So once you have this plot in your Python application, just pass it to Streamlit app and it is done. So you can just how easily you can create any web app using these Streamlit library. And same goes for Plotly. Again, we are importing Plotly and then we are creating a Plotly plot. And again, so here we have changed the library. So if you are using the Plotly library, then you have to use this Plotly chart, and you pass the plot of Plotly. And then this container width is something like in Streamlit, you have containers in the uh, app itself, that you can contain some content in that container or in that container. So it will limit the plot size to that container. So that's why it is here. But otherwise, there is no use case for that. If you're creating trying to create some very complex web Streamlit app, then you will use it. Otherwise, it's not so required. So like see, like you have Plotly plot, which is quite, so Plotly is generally used for interactive plots. For example, like this, you have change values and you can click all these download. So all this functionality is provided by Plotly itself. And yeah, like again, it's very easy to just create this using Streamlit app. Next is so along with these um libraries, there are some So some libraries are provided by Streamlit itself, and some are provided or created by community. So community, I mean, it is like there are different people who are working on Streamlit and they're trying to enhance it. So for that, we have used, for example, if you are using some NLP thing, then you have this Spacey Streamlit that I found interesting. So you install this, and then you can this use this Spacey library. For example, I just found this one. Uh, you pass this to text to these Spacey Streamlit app, and let's see how it looks. Yeah, so it gets a very pretty graph. So it is all by default. So you just have to uh, pass a text, and it will try to visualize it like based on dependency paths, part of speech tags, named entities. So all of this is done by Streamlit. So these is created not by Streamlit, it is created by community. So you can also have created something like this, and these are called like community connectors or something like that. Or yeah. So okay. So this was one of the plot, and you will find different kind of Streamlit functions or third-party application that can be supported by these third-party apps. You can search for your requirement and see like what kind of complex requirement you have, and then you can use these plots. Next, let's see if that works, because last time it did. Yeah, okay, cool. So let's say if you want to create a form in your app, for example, you want to take multiple inputs, and you have to have like submit button or like multiple features, and then take all the input and in one go, like Google Forms, so similar to that. So uh, did that command work? Make streamlit run dot this. What does it say?
So when I ran this, it just the command ran without any error. But like I was trying the HTTP localhost 8501. Yeah, that one. That did not work for me. So I was just wondering if there's some other way to launch the browser.
I mean, did you see output something like this in your?
No, it just gave me a little wave symbol and said, "Welcome to Streamlit."
Strange. Ideally, when you run this app, then you should have something like this. You can view your Streamlit app in a browser. Otherwise, this command didn't run. This will
Okay,
keep
thanks.
this command will not finish. Like this will keep on running,
Okay,
and you need to run without exclamation mark. Streamlit run app.py.
I see.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Let me try that.
Okay. Um. After okay, so we can create these type of form for using Streamlit.form, and we have this title, we have these headers. For example, this is the header, this is the title, input features. Then you can pass all these, let's say, sliders and different features. And then you can create select box. And once the user has clicked this form submit button, means this, and this, you click submit, and then it will show you whatever you want to do with the form. So again, like this is similar to the st dot button. The only difference is like it is part of a form, maybe like one container, like that I mentioned to you in the container part, where we use container width, like here. So yeah, like this will help you to create a form, how to add a form into the Streamlit app. Maybe you have some filters, or like you want to combine that in the form, then you can also do that. Because earlier when we were using this, right? So this was, let's say this was a dashboard, and whenever I'm choosing, it is automatically reflecting. But if I don't want to change that dynamically, then I can have a form, and then you can have a submit button, and then only it will be applied. So it depends on use cases, what exactly you want to do. So, okay. Next is how to cache things. For example, if you have a this file, right, and you want to read it and show it to the user, but thing is like if the Streamlit app is keep on running, so this will again and again reading this Parquet file. So if your file is or CSV file, if it is pretty big and you don't want to load it again and again in the Streamlit app, then you can have this cache function. So what it will do is it will only run once and it will cache that data and keep into the memory. And then if you're performing any operation, it will just get data from that. And basically idea is to make your application faster so that it doesn't read the file and again. It will just read once and finally store into the memory. And it's pretty easy to use. Just have to pass that function and then data is equal to load data. So this will not be calling this function again. This will just load data from the memory in the after the first run. So first run will take some time, but after that it will be pretty fast. So yep, so these are the components, or maybe you can say Streamlit functionality or functions that you can generally use to create any Streamlit app. After that, now let me show you some of the examples, like for the data dashboard that I earlier shown you, how to create those and how does it look like. So it could be a little bit complex, but let me know like if you have any questions. Okay. Uh, let's say this is the Streamlit tutorial, and in that we have pages 1 and 2, and this is our main app. So you can see Streamlit and all the libraries and the page configuration and this. So this will launch a this page. So Arizona housing pricing analysis and prediction. So you can see just only this. This is the main Streamlit file. And then in that, we also have pages. So for example, you can see like pages, dashboard, and prediction, right? So what you need to do is you need to create a pages folder. And then you have these two files, and this will create these two files here. So let's go to the dashboard app once. In the dashboard app, we have these filters, we have these charts. So we are using the same configuration that we did in the notebook. We have title, we have this load data function that we just saw in the notebook. You load the data and then you have these location filters, you have county filters and zip filters, same again as the notebook. Then you have unique other selection box like these, start and end year. And then you have your filtering data based on these filters. And after that, you're creating these columns. Like these are something like you want to add some numbers. So these are called KPIs, or let's say columns. You create 3 columns and you provide all the values into these 3 columns. So for example, average sale price, average home sold, inventory size, and you add these metrics. And after that, let's say we want to add the first chart. So you create a column again. So column wise, you can also have these column wise output. So we have only 2 columns. So in the first column, we add first chart. And I showed you like the Plotly apps. You have also like Streamlit, uh, Streamlit app, Streamlit plots. So here you have density plot here. And again, here is a histogram plot. So, and again, seems very easy to pass just the figure. So generally, if you're creating a dashboard, generally you will have these values already, data you have already. You just need to pass that to Streamlit so that it can show you these. And you can see like it's pretty easy to use. Just have to pass the value into the st.write or st.plot, and that's it. After that, again for the map, Streamlit have a map function where you can just pass the latitude and longitude. If you have worked with geospatial data, then it will create a map as well using the data. And then we are finally showing the filter data as well. So this we have already seen, just have to pass the data frame. So you can see like very easy and in very less line of code. You didn't have any front-end experience, just have to create a simple Python application and add some component of Streamlit into that, and you will able to create a dashboard. After that, let's go to the prediction one. So now let's say you have dashboard created, right? But sometimes you have a requirement of creating a model and you want to give that model to the users so that they can run their predictions or they can run that model. So how do we do that? So for that, let's say we have this trainer notebook. So I'm just giving an example, like once you have model trained, so in this we are just doing some training. So once you have this maybe scikit-learn model or any other model, in the final step, let's say uh, this is our best model. Like again, we are using same all the libraries of scikit-learn and everything. Just have the model. Then how you can store that model, train model into the in your GitHub or any other page, and then you can load that into the Streamlit app. So how we can do that? So this is called model persistence. So how we do that? So there are some libraries to do that. Either you can use pickle, like pickle or joblib. So scikit-learn suggests both. You can use either, and you install this library, and you can pass the model, and you can pass the path of that model where you want to store it, and then it will just dump the tuned model to the local, and then you can upload that to GitHub. For example, I have dumped this model into the my GitHub app, which is called prediction model tuned and joblib. And now you can just read this model into the prediction app and then submit the predictions. So you trained the model, finally you saved the tuned model into the local, and then you pass into the Streamlit app. Now let's go to the Streamlit app, how to read this model. So again, we will be using same library, joblib. Yes, so let's start with Streamlit app. We imported all the libraries and same configurations, path, load data. Again, if you want how to load the model, then again joblib.load and then model's path, and then it will return your model. And for this model, you can run the predictions with using features. So here I had to scaling as well. So scale part, you can add that to into your app itself. So once you have data from the user and you want to do some pre-processing, if that is required, then you can pass that to uh, the function into the Python function itself. Like here we are using some scaling. And then after that, once you have the scaled features, you can pass that to the model and it will run you the predictions. So again, very simple. You have to just do the model persistence so that you are not using the training model at the time of running. Again, you have this, once you have made the prediction, just pass into the Streamlit Write app. So let's see. So here we have same filters. You have some input features from user. Here you can have CSV file as well, similar to that we had in the file uploader notebook. So you can pass that input, maybe multiple number of rows, not just the features. So let's say we run this. Now we have selected all the input, then we click submit and it will run the prediction model and it will return the predictions. So again, this is a very common use case where you want have some, let's say you have something like class assignment where you have this model and you want to present this model rather than in a Jupyter notebook where you have this model stored and trained and everything. You can make it public or make it like very easier to just use in the browser and run it. And yeah, like this will add a extra layer of presentation to your project. So yeah, these are the two examples of Streamlit and uh, dashboard and the prediction, how to run the model. Next, we will see about how to, so you can see like I'm not running this into my local. You can, I mean, this was running on local, but now let's say if I want to make that public, how we can do that. So there are multiple options. Let me start with the easiest first. Let's start with the collab. So let's say if I want to run uh, the Streamlit app into the Google Colab. So how we can do that? So browse work tutorials. one, workshops, and then Streamlit tutorial, collab starter. Okay. Okay. So let's say why collab is, for example, if you want to access GPUs as well, right? So in that case, it's very easy to uh, get the GPUs from here. So you can choose the runtime type, like here you have CPU option, we have GPU option. So you can, if you want to run your app onto the with the GPU, because if you have like a lot of processing that you have to do while you're doing, so you can also choose GPUs. And so let's say I clone my, this one also have the same data. And so for Steam, to run Streamlit into the Google Colab, you need to install some more libraries, which is local tunnel. And let's say run this, and let's run this. While this is running, let me show you the workshop. So what it is doing is, let's go to Streamlit tutorial and t.sh, not this one. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. So this will run the same things, just like the same, like it is running the Streamlit app, and then it is running this command. So that will allow you to open the Streamlit application in the Google Colab as well. So I will show you. So still it is installing. Let's wait for it a little bit. So let's say you have all the code into the your repo. You can clone that repo, and you can have these libraries installed, and then you run this run.sh file, which is just nothing, just the Streamlit command and some extra commands to work, make it work in the Colab. Come on. Let me do it. So this is the first option. Second option, let me show that to you while it is running. So other option is, so Streamlit also have something like a community cloud. So what you can do is, so now what it will do is it will, yeah, it is already ran. So once after this, it will still keep on running. You need to go to the this URL. You need to type, you need to copy this IP. You need to submit it here. Click to submit, and this will create uh, the web IP for you. But again, this will keep on running until this is running. So this basically, whenever your notebook is running, then only you can access this, right? So there's a problem here. So if you want to run something that is always running, something like a public on public IP, then how do you do that? So currently you understand like, okay, how from the Colab notebook, you can also run the Streamlit app. And this is something the procedure it is. So let me stop this. And so you can see this was some other IP. Earlier I was using localhost. Now let's move on to another thing that was a Streamlit community provide itself. That is like a Streamlit community cloud. Here you can make your public apps, and it is totally free. I think one app is a private as well. You can create a private app, but there is a functionality like you have to buy premium if you want to have more than two private apps, more than one private apps. But you can have like many public apps, maybe 100 or something. So how to create that is, so you go to this share.stream.io, then create a new app. You pass your repo, for example, uh, maybe lab is choosing this one, then you choose the branch, you choose the path of your Streamlit main file, which in our case was Streamlit app.py, or this one, Arizona housing prices.py, right? So I gave that path. You can also give your URL. For example, I have something like this. So I created this Streamlit app and I pasted into the GitHub repo. Then I created a Streamlit web app using Community Cloud. And then I also can give my own DNS, or you can say this URL, to the Streamlit app. And then you can just click deploy. Along with that, there are some advanced options. If you want to choose some Python versions, then you can also do that. So once you click deploy, it will just launch this website. So let me show you this the current app that I have just created. It's pretty easy. Edit, come on. Oh, edit with code spaces, settings. No, it is not allowing me to see my settings. But yeah, like I can change my URL, and while creating, I have just given it a path of my this path, Streamlit tutorial Arizona housing prices.py. So I need to just give that path, and after clicking deploy, it will just deploy the app. So again, this is a use case where you want to make your uh, model or any dashboard public, and you want to add it to your GitHub in your CV or something. Then you can just add this IP, and this will always be running. So whenever someone will click, this will enhance your CV as such, because you have a portfolio or something like that into your CV itself, and it is free, so you don't have to worry about it. Another deployment method. Okay, so one more thing. So it will require for the Streamlit app to work on the Streamlit community cloud, you have to have one more file, which I'll show you now. So you need to have this. So for example, if you have some dependencies on scikit-learn or maybe TensorFlow or any other thing, right? So you have to have this requirement.txt file in your repo, so that Streamlit Community Cloud knows which libraries you want. So before that, I had installed all these. I wrote all the requirements in this file, so that Streamlit Community Cloud can install these packages while I'm running this app, right? So this one extra thing that you need to do in your Streamlit application if you want to make it public. So that is the only thing that you have to do. Next method is something that University of Arizona provides, that is called Cybers. So this option you can use when you want to use something uh, like better infrastructure. So for example, in Colab, you can use GPUs, but it will only run when you have this notebook running. But if you want something like a public app or maybe private app with some authentication or something like that, but if and you also want to use GPUs, so this is the third step. So in that, what you can do, so this is a little bit tricky or maybe more advanced, but I'll just explain you the basics, like how did I do it. For example, this app is running in Cybers. So there are multiple steps involved. First step is you need to create a Docker image of your app. So how do we do that? Uh, let's say I have this repo. I created one Docker file for my Streamlit app. Not this one. This one. This is the Docker file. So this session is not about Docker. So if you have Docker knowledge, then it's good. But if you don't, Docker is something that you create a package of your application so that it can be executed on any machine. So that is the simplest I can put it. So if you have some advanced use case, then you can create a Docker file. You can you can install all the requirements. You can have again this Streamlit entry.sh file where what you want to execute in that Docker. Entry.sh is doing nothing, again just launching the Streamlit app. So once you have this Docker file and everything is sorted in your container, so whenever I'm running this Docker container using something like docker run command, uh, and you build a Docker image and you publish it. So publish it is how, for example, I created this app and then I published into the Docker Hub. So there are multiple steps that involve how to publish into Docker. So that is not part of this tutorial. So I'm assuming, let's say you have this Docker image pushed and everything into the public, and anyone can use it. Then you go to Cybers, and you can, this is totally free as well. So for University of Arizona, it is free. You can go to this Cybers website. Then you need to create some you need to go to discovery environment. Here you can create they call it tools, where you need to add, for example, let me go to here. I created one tool for that here. So you need to pass um, edit okay. So here I am named it Streamlit tutorial. I gave it a version. I gave my container image that I just showed you here in the Docker Hub website. You provide a version, and you provide which port you want to it is running. For example, Streamlit was running in 501, and then you provide memories and memory limit, and again then you just save it, and this will create a tool. And after that, there are multiple steps. So after you create a tool, you need to create a app. So how you create app is, for example, I created Streamlit app. So this one here, it is nothing. You have to just give the name, and this will automatically pop up, and then you go to next, next, and next, and then again you provide here memory for the app, for minimum memory and disk space, and then just you launch it. And after launching, it will pull that Docker image from the website, from the Docker Hub, and it will launch something like this again. So this is how we can create application on Cybers, on Google Colab, or Streamlit Community Cloud. So everyone, so as per the requirement, you can choose which environment you want to work on. And you can also have some kind of authentication. For example, this is very public, right? But in Cybers, you can have private applications as well, where you can ask user to log in first, maybe something like Arizona ID or something. But for that and advanced features, you need to reach out to Cybers. So they have this functionality, but you need to maybe work with them. But this is totally possible. If you have something research that you want to make it only private, then you can use Cybers as well. So yeah, we covered, I think, almost everything from tutorial, from creating a web dashboard app, creating a prediction app, and also all the deployment features, all the 3 deployment things that we have done. I think, yeah, that is it. If anyone have any questions, then we can work on that. I'll stop sharing my screen. Yeah. If anyone doesn't have any question, then we are good for today. And if you have any, Make already have shared the Streamlit code and everything. So if you have any questions or having issues with that running, then you can reach out to me. I'll stop the recording.